Hey guys, Jarek the Game Dragon doing some more Dirt 3 gameplay. This time some rally in Norway, I believe, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to get readjusted to this car. As you see at the very beginning, I'm really all over the road. This is me just not used to this car. But I still finished well, so I guess that didn't hurt me too much. Literally, the last 40 races I've done in this game have all been with modern cars, and in the races right before this I was doing Gymkhana, so I had to readjust everything. I hate those Gymkhana events, I really do. I play Dirt 3 because I want to race, I don't want to do freestyle crap, alright? I know, I think I'm the only person that feels that way, because all the comments I ever see is, I love Gymkhana, and it drives me crazy because I fucking hate Gymkhana so much. Anyway, getting a little bit off topic here. Like I said, I had to readjust to this car, or they give you limited options for this race. It's all older cars, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and Group B cars. I tried to use the Group B cars at first for this, but this race is very technical. It's less about speed and more about turning correctly. And the Group B cars work they're pretty fast, but God, they handle like Satan's ass crack as I do a little bit of off-roading here. That was intentional, by the way, and it didn't hurt me. Actually, it sped me up. But yeah, the Group B cars handle so fucking bad. They're horrible. They're fast and you can't turn them worth shit. So I tried to do this race about 4 times on the hardest difficulty. I was losing by 10 seconds every single fucking time. I just went fuck this and quit out of Dirt 3, restarted it, chose the one of the 90s cars, and hey, look how much better I'm doing. I can actually fucking turn. So yeah, like I said, this is less about speed and more about, you know, getting the turns down correctly. See, a lot of them are hairpin turns like that, and I didn't even get that one down right. That one I just slowed way the hell down. So, could have done a little bit better, but whatever. Let's just keep on going. Rolling. God, why did that come into my head? Time to kill myself. But this car, it handles well. It works very well. Big jump. Woo! This car handles well and it works well. It's just, good God, it looks so shitty. It looks so bad. What is with... Well, I was going to say what is with rally cars in picking the, that, like, station wagon look. But a lot of these cars are, you know, made with the UK in mind and made in the UK, or at least designed in the UK, so, I mean, it kind of makes sense. It's more of a European design compared to the American designs, but, God, I just think it looks really stupid. I know a lot of people that like the look. I don't mind the more streamlined look, like the newer Subarus, but, these just look so dumb. So dumb. Anyway, coming up to the end of the race here. And the time was decent. Got about, you know, beat them by 4 or 5 seconds or so. And yeah, that's the end of the race. Let's go to the next one. Oh, and I'm going to start showing you the standings too. Second race. This one's the shortest out of the 4. It actually kind of surprised me at how short it was. It always tells you beforehand, this race is, you know, 4 miles, this is 5, this is 1, but I always look right over that. Anyway, this time around I'm using the cockpit view. This is actually the view I use when I'm racing in-game, because I record all this afterward using the replay mode, which I love this thing. It makes my life so much easier. I can do voiceovers in-game, I don't have to do any editing, just render the videos, and then I'm done. That's all I got to do. It makes my life so much easier. And if you're wondering why I don't do live commentary when I'm doing racing games, is because I wouldn't really be saying anything except for the occasional fuck when I crash. So yeah, it's easier to do voiceovers. When you're racing, you kind of have to have full attention to what you're doing. As I pass up that guy that's getting in my way, slowing me down, what an asshole. But yeah, like I said, this is the angle I use when I'm racing. When you get adjusted to this angle, you will race a lot faster and do a lot better. You can really feel which angle the car's turning. Big jump there. You can really feel the angle of the car when you're drifting, when you're turning. You know which way the car is pointing. It's overall a lot better than the behind the car angle once you get adjusted to it. It may take a little bit of a while to get adjusted to it, but once you do, it's overall a lot better. And that turn right there fucked me up a lot in the race beforehand. It's kind of a tricky turn. Well, when you're doing it backwards and you're going from the other way, it's actually a very simple turn. You wouldn't even think twice about it. But yeah, try to use the cockpit view. It really does help when you're racing. You can look around at the other analog stick. I use a 360 controller when I'm racing on my PC. Makes my life a lot easier as we come up to the end of the race here. Try racing with the mouse and keyboard. Yeah, not gonna work. Anyway, I got a decent time. This is on the hardest difficulty. I didn't get the bonus because I wasn't exactly going for straightaway speed. I was just going for the speed through the turns. And I got quite a bit of a lead in everybody else in the standings. third race. I'm going back to the cockpit view because the last race was so short, and I do like this angle. I wish more games would use it. I don't know why more games don't add. Well, actually, no, I do know why more games don't add it. More games don't add it because that would require the developers to actually do some research and actually do some work to see how the cars react and how they look on the inside. And I'm sorry, developers, that I actually expect you to put some time and effort into your games, but maybe you should learn to put some time and effort into your games. I love it when developers actually use this camera angle. Just, you know, if you want to make an actual simulation, this camera angle is going to be the best camera angle to use. But more games don't. They just cheap it out and go to the on-hood angle or in front of the car angle, and then they just ignore the cockpit angle. Anyway, this race is probably the second shortest out of the three. It's not that short, but somewhat short. And the weather conditions are low visibility. It's snowing. I love the way the snow looks when it's snowing in this game. I know I've said it plenty of times before, but the weather conditions in this game really make the game feel a lot better. I absolutely loved the weather conditions. They did a good job, because everyone was disappointed in Dirt 2 that there was no weather conditions. It was just sunny all the time, and for a rally game that just seems incredibly out of character. That just, why? But yeah, they're here. Now it's really, the snow does get kind of in your vision. I have noticed that it's kind of disappointing that the snow doesn't actually hit the windshield. It just kind of goes over the windshield. If you're ever driving in the snow, or if you've driven in the snow, you know that snow hits the windshield and blocks your vision a lot. So maybe that's just how snow is up here in the Northwest, because the snow we get isn't like powder or anything. We get this really slick, wet snow. It's just, there's too much humidity here. Usually it's not cold enough to snow, and if it is, it's not like in the negatives or anything, or really not so cold. It's just below freezing. It rarely drops below 32. And it's hilarious because we don't get a whole lot of snow here. When it drops below 32, news goes crazy and goes, oh, we might get some snow, and then everybody else freaks out, and then we don't get snow, and then everyone threatens the news company and says, why didn't we get snow? You said we were supposed to get snow. Oh gosh, it's just funny when that happens. I personally myself don't like snow in the city, because if I want to go snowboarding or something, I can just drive, you know, an hour on Mount Hood and go to Mount Hood Meadows and have a great place to go snowboarding and see snow all I want. Stay snow out of the city. When it snows, people freak out. They don't know how to drive. Everything closes, and it's just a pain in the ass. You can't get anywhere because people are just being so stupid. It doesn't really help that we get like an inch of ice, and then we get the wet, slick snow on top of that. So I mean, unless you chain up, don't drive, and then people try to drive anyway, and they don't even know how to drive in snow to begin with, let alone driving on ice and, you know, wet, slick stuff. I've only seen real powder once in my life, and that was in a blizzard I got. That's like a whole little off-road in here, and that was in a blizzard we got in 2008. That's the only time I've ever seen actual powder. We just don't get powder here. Anyway, the end of the race has shown up. Beat people by a little bit of an amount of time. And in the standings, I should be just really far ahead of everybody else, because I'm coming in first place every time and beating everyone by about 5 seconds. So yeah, I'm quite a bit ahead. Alright, last race. This is 4 out of 4. And I changed the camera angle to the hood angle. There's really no weather conditions on this one. It's just snow on the ground. It's not snowing. It's, you know, some clouds out in the air, a little bit of sun coming through the clouds. So pretty standard snow race, nothing too special about it. Anyway, on this race, I think I went decently fast. I ended up passing 2 different people on this race. When you pass up people in rally, you know you're doing something right. Unless they're doing something very wrong, one of the two. But this time around, I think I just did something very right. It felt like I was going fast. It felt like I did it very smooth. That's the thing with racing games that a lot of people don't really notice, is that sometimes you'll feel like you're going really fast, when in all reality you're just doing it, you're turning really smooth. You're not necessarily going really fast. And there's a big difference between going fast and going smoothly. See, I could do perfectly on all my turns, make it look really smooth, and then have a slower time than a really sloppy but fast run. And I mean, I did cross country for years, and it felt that way for cross country too. Although that's something entirely different, as I got to pass up this guy and made me slow down. What an asshole! But I did that in cross country quite a bit, where you would have a race, and by the end you're just winded and you feel horrible, and it just feels like you're really out of shape. But it's, you know, the fastest race you've ever done. And then you'll have other races where you feel like you could run another 10 miles. You're not even tired at all, but it was somewhat a slow race. You know, it wasn't your best time. It's just the right conditioning and then the right mindset as well. People have a tendency to be more complacent about things when, you know, they feel good. They're like, alright, I can just keep doing this. I don't have to speed up. I don't have to slow down. I can keep doing what I'm doing perfectly fine. And generally they don't end up pushing themselves. I myself, I have to push myself no matter what I do. I want to always do something better. I'm not a perfectionist, but you know, I always want to do well at what I'm doing. Even if I don't enjoy what I'm doing, I want to be, you know, good at it. And I'm coming up to the end of the race here as I passed up 2 different people, as you probably noticed. But yeah, the person behind me was 7 seconds behind me. So that's a decent a decent time difference there. Not too much. This is on the hardest difficulty, by the way, and I got the bonus beat without taking damage, so it did pretty well.
Nice rally, mate. You read that track well.
Agreed. What more is there to say except on to the next?